are not perfect. They're suffering.
To fix the family?
When we asked her, what was your childhood like? She said, and I quote, it was a living hell. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Maria says she was overjoyed with the birth of her first child, a daughter named Allie. But by just 1.5 years old, Allie showed signs of aggression, and these temper tantrums turned into cursing and fits of crying for seemingly no reason at all. Now, throughout the next 19 years, Maria says she spent all of her time trying to figure out what was wrong with Allie, meeting with doctors, counselors, IEPs, therapists. Now, you'd think she has only one child, right? She says all of her time. But that's not the case. There is another daughter, Elena, and she's behind the scenes. 16-year-old Elena says her mother ignored her so much throughout the years that she is now angry. She grew up feeling momless, forgotten, neglected. But while Maria admits she focused almost entirely on her older daughter, Allie, while ignoring Elena, she says she expected Elena to be the perfect child. And she's very confused as to why Elena is out of control now.
Right now I'm having a lot of issues with both of my daughters. My oldest daughter, Allie, has borderline personality disorder, and it has affected everybody in the family.
So don't you want to get better? No, I don't want to go somewhere I have to stay there for years. No.
And my youngest daughter, Elena, feels that I have focused all my time with Allie, and I completely ignored her.
I literally can't even call her for 2 minutes without getting into an argument.
When I get this kind of attitude, then I don't talk civilly.
Allie is manic, easily annoyed, and definitely knows what to do to get under my skin.
Don't touch me.
I've tried everything to help her, from different doctor's appointments to different tests.
I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall.
Don't you start those freaking waterworks.
I always thought of Elena as my perfect child. Lately, she seems very angry and lost. Elena feels like I've only ever cared about her sister. Her grades were pretty good before, but then she started failing her classes. Elena moved into her dad's house because I wanted to take away her phone for punishment for failing the class.
She was failing a class last semester. She already failed the first time.
And that has a 90% failing rate.
She's willing to jeopardize graduating just to keep that phone. Elena loves to throw her sister Allie under the bus just so she can take the focus off of her. I feel very overwhelmed as a parent. I feel like I'm losing control because they are overtaking my mental health. I want to know how to keep my own sanity while handling my daughter's issues.
You, even grading your own paper, you say the bulk of your time was spent on Allie.
Correct, yes.
And of course, she's 3 years older.
Yes.
So there were 3 years that she was the only child.
Yes.
But then you had Elena. But by that time, Allie was very high maintenance.
Very high maintenance.
Because by the time Elena was born, she had, Allie was up and walking and throwing tantrums and being oppositional.
Yes.
And really volatile, right?
Yes.
So even from birth, Elena has taken a seat in the second row.
Yes.
Because you were so absorbed over here.
Yes.
Okay. And you say that now she's making poor choices like vaping and sneaking out to meet up with people, and her grades are starting to fall off and all of that. But you said that even though you didn't pay attention to her, that she was the perfect child. That you had Allie that was high maintenance and had issues, and then this was the perfect child.
Mm-hmm.
Children that grow up in dysfunctional families are not perfect. They might be convenient. They might stand to the side and not create demands and issues, but they're not perfect.
Right.
They're suffering. And they just don't, the squeaky wheel gets the grease and they don't squeak much, but it's easy to confuse convenience with perfection. Because when we asked her, what was your childhood like? She said, and I quote, "It was a living hell." She says, my mother was not available. She said, you drank, her father drank, her sister was in constant meltdown. And so she was just over here by herself, having to make her own way. And she felt like you were not emotionally available. Her father was not emotionally trustworthy. And so she was really lost.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a perfect child, but yet you describe her as perfect.
Yeah. In my mind, she was.
But now this model child is acting out. She's vaping. She's failing classes that she was doing really well in before. She's sneaking out. She's disrespecting her mother. Elena says she is the exhausted one because she basically had to raise herself from day one.
I wish my family could be normal. I'm tired of what we are dealing with because of my sister Allie. My sister Allie is nuts.
Good. She just slammed my door again.
My mom is controlling, overprotective, annoying, and she doesn't know boundaries. Growing up, my childhood was like a living hell. There was always yelling and screaming, and we never got along. I felt alone on my own. I felt momless. I felt like Allie was more important than me.
I always thought I gave her the attention she needed.
Me trapping myself in my bedroom on a daily basis is giving me the attention that I need.
My mom always expected me to be fine, but I wasn't. I had to learn how to raise myself. I feel like I'm more mature for my age. Now that my sister is doing her own thing, my mom wants to be a part of my life. It's a little late now. She wants me to be perfect with school and how I act. My sister graduated with a certificate of completion and not a diploma. Meanwhile, my mom expects me to be a straight-A student. Currently, I'm living with my dad and not my mom. She told me that I'm not allowed to come home until I give up my phone.
She's never bought me a single phone, never paid a single one of my phone bills, so she can't take it.
You're right, I can't. You're not going to live under my roof and not follow
then
my
I
rules.
won't live under your roof.
I don't want to go home until she can change her ways.
You were listening to my conversation with your mom when we started.
Yeah.
What's your reaction to what she had to say?
I mean, I don't know where she's getting the sneaking out thing from. If I was going to sneak out, I'd walk right out the front door. If I want to sneak out, I'm going to do it. I don't have a reason to be sneaking out right now. Because, yeah, I will admit that I do vape. Yeah, I will admit that I've started to get myself into trouble, but I'm not sneaking out.
Okay.
But didn't you sneak out from your dad's last summer
For what?
to meet up with boys?
No, I don't recall that.
You're currently living with your father.
Yeah.
You're uncomfortable there. Why?
Just everything that's happened between us in the past.
I don't think he'd be stupid enough to do anything like that again.
Living with my dad is awkward because we didn't have a strong relationship from the beginning. When I was in 4th grade, my dad was charged with child abuse because he was drunk and abusive towards me. Since then, the judges said that my dad cannot be drunk or have alcohol around me. The other day, he went to the bar and got intoxicated. It triggers me when I see him drink. I want to go home, but I'm not going back to my mom's house until she can change her ways. I'd rather not live with either of my parents. As soon as I turn 17, I'm out.
You're currently living with your father,
Yeah.
but that's not ideal in your view, correct?
No.
You're uncomfortable there.
Yeah.
Why?
Just everything that's happened between us in the past and me never having really a strong relationship with him.
What's happened between the two of you in the past?
When I was in 4th grade, he came home drunk and ended up getting third-degree child abuse against me.
And this was because of verbal and emotional and some physical abuse, right?
Yeah.
While he was drunk.
Yep.
And part of the court order was if he's around you at all, subsequent to that, he's not allowed to be drinking anything at all.
No.
And you're living with him now.
Yep.
Is he being consistent with that guideline?
Nope.
He is not.
I think it was like last week maybe. He went to the bar with his friend, came home, and he had been drinking. And I overheard him say how he drank at the bar and he took like shots of other alcohol. And he came home and I just trapped myself in my room again, locked my door, and I wouldn't go by him because I was sitting in there panicking. And then sometimes I'll go out into the kitchen for dinner and there will just be empty beer cans sitting there. One time I went out there and there were 6 empty beer cans sitting on the counter.
Okay. Okay. So what's your emotional reaction to that?
Panic. I just panic.
Because you remember what happened because you were
Yeah,
in,
it
it was
just triggers
fourth grade.
Yeah, it triggers everything in my head and I just panic and there's nothing I can do.
How do you feel about that situation?
Bothers me, but I thought he had his drinking under control because when he would get really drunk, he would call me and just start
Well,
trouble
did
with
she
me.
tell you?
No,
I
she
have
never-
not told her that he's been drinking.
How do you feel about now that you're hearing it?
He shouldn't be just because of the past history.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't ask you what you thought about it. I asked you what you feel about it.
Upset.
Does it worry you? I mean, does it scare you?
To a certain point, I feel like I don't think he'd be stupid enough to do anything like that again. I mean, I would hope not, but it worries me, but not to the point when they were real little that they couldn't. She can kind of defend herself now a little bit more.
Do you know what I was looking for? I was looking for empathy. I was looking to see if you had an empathetic response with your daughter. If you could put yourself in her shoes and say, wow, I know what happened in fourth grade. I know this got to the level of the courts getting involved. I know she was traumatized by that. So
Whenever
it was dad plus alcohol. And here's dad plus alcohol again, right? I'm sorry?
Whenever I even try to bring it up to her about the situation, she tells me you just need to forget it and let it go. It was the past. That's not something you just forget and let go.
Do you know what I'm saying about
Yes.
empathy? Because she's telling you right now that, hey, listen, this isn't something that happened once, had a beginning and an end. It started and it was over. It leaves an indelible impression on a child where they feel out of control and helpless, inability to protect themselves. And then here's that combination of factors again: alcohol, father, and alone. And that's a very scary situation. And she's told us about it. She said, like, yeah, it made me really uncomfortable.
And no phone to contact anyone if something even happens.
We live the next street over, though. I mean, if something happened, you could come home. You can come home anytime. I want you to be home,
Okay, anytime
Elena.
I ask to come home even for an hour to see the dog, I can't even come home then.
Why?
Because she tells me, oh, you can't come over until you give up the phone.
Why is the phone the big issue of contention here?
Because she was failing school. The rules were if she was failing any classes, she had to turn over her phone
Why?
as a punishment until she got her grades back up to passing again because she was
Do
spending
you have
too
some
much,
reason that that's connected to her grades?
because she's spending too much time on the phone.
Okay,
She's
I'm
staying
spending
up-
too much time on the phone when I literally come straight home from school. The second I get off the bus and go in my room and do my homework.
No, I asked you, do you have any homework? Nope, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Well, we've been talking about Elena's father. We're going to hear from him. He says even though Maria can be difficult, her home is probably the best place for the daughter to live. We'll talk to him next. How were things going when the two girls were there? Was there fighting between the girls?
No, not really.
Really?
To deal with all the stresses from my daughter's behaviors, I drink nearly every single night. I drink sometimes up to 6 beers a night, sometimes wine coolers, sometimes wine. It doesn't make me drunk, but it definitely takes the edge off. It's sad to say, but right now it's the only way I can cope. It seems like it's become a habit, but I do definitely want to cut back. I'd probably stop consuming so much alcohol if my daughters would get their act together.
Well, Elena says mom has been drinking since she was little. So dad's got a problem with drinking and created an issue. And you say that your mother has been drinking since you were small, and you say that you've been drinking all along. as well. But you actually said, if it wasn't for you girls, I probably wouldn't be drinking. That's what you told us.
I mean, not daily. I mean, like not as much because I do it to take the edge off. I mean, I haven't drank since I've been out here. I mean, but.
Well, do you blame your girls for your choices?
No, that's my coping skills.
Because it sounds like
That's
that.
my crappy
Because didn't you
coping
tell her that if it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't be drinking?
No.
You didn't say, because you told us you did.
I did.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
And you told us you did. I mean, you haven't said that?
I don't recall saying that.
Wow.
I don't.
It's interesting how people say things, and then when I ask about them, they start backpedaling.
No,
It was
seriously.
literally, I can tell you exactly where it was, where
Okay.
we were going. We were literally going to my orthodontist appointment. And she looks at me and she goes, yeah, I haven't really drank that much now that you and your sister have been gone.
Huh.
So I called her like 2 weeks later and I had a breakdown and I was like, good to know that if anything happened to you because of your drinking, that now that I have to live with that guilt, that it was because of me. When she
No,
sits,
that's
yeah, okay, because she sits there and
You're
tells
not
me
the
how
reason
sometimes her liver
for that.
enzymes are elevated.
you're not the reason for that. It is my choice.
well, that's not what
That's
you told
my
me in the
crappy
car.
way of coping.
But that's what you implied to her, though. You
No,
recall
but
that conversation?
I didn't mean for that to come across that way. And I'm sorry if it did.
Well, it did.
It did. And I understand that, but I did not mean it that way, Elena. I did not.
And to make matters worse, Elena is now living with her father, who Maria claims is an alcoholic and completely oblivious to whatever Elena does. Rodney, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you, Dr. Phil?
I'm good. Maria says that you're just completely oblivious to whatever Elena does. I got a feeling that you probably don't agree with that.
No, I don't understand why you say that.
Uh-huh. How are things going between, you had both girls living with you until about a week ago, right?
Allie's been gone about 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay, she's been gone 3 weeks. So the two of them were there until 3 weeks ago, and then the last few weeks it's just been Elena.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How's it going with just the two of you there?
I thought we got along fine.
Uh-huh.
She spends all her time in the bedroom.
Yeah. How
I
did
get her
things?
out
How were things going when the two girls were there together with you?
pretty well.
Was there chaos? Was there fighting between the girls?
No, not really.
Really?
I don't see all of the things that Maria sees.
Here's a video of an argument between Elena and Allie.
Okay, I'm calling then. You have 10 minutes to come get her, I'm calling. What are you choosing? What are you choosing? Me call or you come get her? I can. Good, she just slammed my door again, I'm calling. Stop doing this! What the? Madison, you can stop making this. Okay. What are you doing? Come and get her or am I calling? You don't have a little while. You have 10 minutes, Dad. Or I'm calling. Good, I'm calling. Goodbye.
And it's right after that you noticed that the door had come off the hinges at the bottom, right?
Oh yeah, you can't even shut my door normal.
Yeah, here's a picture of that door you're talking about that's cracked and broken. And all I'm pointing out is that those two girls being together, whether it's your house or Maria's house or wherever, is probably not a good arrangement. Rodney, Elena says she's been bothered by the fact that you've been drinking some when she's there. True or false?
I have a few every couple days. Yes.
Okay.
I don't get intoxicated.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you have been, but you have been imbibing in some alcohol while she's there.
Yes.
Okay. So what does Elena's older sister have to say about all of this? She's here, and we're going to hear what she has to say by adding her to this conversation next. Rodney, stay with us. We'll be right back.
I just want you to care about your life as much as I care about it. Just for once.
I feel like I'm not normal. A lot of other people that I know don't have problems like me. That makes me upset.
Allie moved out of my house because she said my rules were ridiculous. She feels I shouldn't have parental controls on her phone because she's 19. And now she lives with the boy she just met on Snapchat. I'm relieved she moved out, but I'm very worried about her. My biggest fear is that if her and this boy split up, she will spiral out of control.
We're talking this hour with Maria and her ex-husband, Rodney. Their 16-year-old daughter, Elena, is here. Elena says that she had to take a back seat to her older sister, Allie, who got all the attention because of her struggles with mental illness, while Elena was ignored. Here's what Allie has to say.
Me and my family have issues. We fight and argue a lot.
Everybody that knows us knows our problems. It's no secret.
Our world, the world.
The world doesn't know us.
Yeah, I'm done.
When I get in my depressing moods, I get mad. I feel like I'm not normal. A lot of other people that I know don't have problems like me. That makes me upset. My sister shows me love, but she can be mean to me. Sometimes I scream at Elena when she doesn't listen to me.
Elena, stop doing this!
My mom worries about me all the time. She wants to make sure I'm safe and doing the right thing. She doesn't want me to do anything stupid.
I just want you to care about your life as much as I care about it. Just for once.
It might have been a little early to move with my boyfriend, but I do love him and he makes me really happy. Right now, I don't want to live with my mom ever again. And if I moved back in with my mom, I wouldn't be able to talk to my boyfriend because she put parental controls on my phone.
She just doesn't let things go. She just picks and picks and picks at me.
I just wish we can all get along, and I wish I could change the way I am.
Allie, thank you for joining this conversation.
You're welcome.
You said, I wish I wasn't the way I am. Describe the way you are.
Like, I feel I'm not normal. Everybody can do other stuff, and I just can't do stuff.
What's the most abnormal pattern that you experience?
Just fighting and stuff.
Fighting?
I don't.
Do you have a hard time regulating or modulating your emotions? Do they get out of control? Can you tell when it's going to happen?
Sometimes I just can't control it, usually.
You know it's coming, you just can't pump the brake.
Yeah, pretty much.
You see it, but there's nothing you can do about it. Okay. And do you realize that it's not the best choice at the time, that it's not helping? You just can't stop it. Okay. You've moved out now. You moved out from your mom's house. You were in your dad's house. You moved out of your dad's house and you're living with your boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you known him?
Tomorrow's going to be 1 month.
1 month?
Yeah.
Okay. And how'd y'all meet?
Snapchat.
Snapchat. Huh. Is he a nice guy? Does he treat you well?
Mm-hmm.
Treat you with respect?
Yeah, respect and love. He cares about me.
Does he have a job? Uh-huh. And so you feel safe with him? Do you have the same emotional ups and downs with him?
Yes.
And how does he respond to that?
He just gets mad.
I'm sorry?
He just gets mad because my borderline personality disorder makes me have unstable relationships.
Uh-huh.
So it's just really hard for me to keep a relationship.
Right. Did he know about it before you moved in?
But my borderline personality disorder?
Yeah, the fact that you were emotionally up and down.
No, he learned about that fast.
He learned it pretty quick? Yeah, okay. What is best for this complicated family when several people are involved that have different agendas? I don't think we have one person pulling in the same direction that the other person's pulling. And that makes it difficult. And I have some priorities here. I'm going to tell you what they are. I'm going to tell you what I think needs to start happening. We'll be right back.
I think the best thing for my family would be to split up for a while because we need time to breathe and get our acts together. If we do those things, we might have a normal family relationship. The best thing for my family would be to get therapy where we can get help. I don't like fighting or arguing all the time.
I think the best hope for our family is if the kids would just listen to their dumb mom once in a while. I've tried to explain to them that I have lived a little bit longer life and have a little bit more knowledge than them. And I'm just trying to spare them some heartache in life.
You've posed the question, Why is she so interested in you now when she wasn't interested in what you were doing in your life all of these years? Why now?
Don't know.
How do you answer that question?
I guess the wheel got squeaky.
It's like you didn't care for all of these years. You weren't invested in me. You weren't invested in my day to day. And now all of a sudden you are. Why? Don't need it. Don't need the help.
I can see where she feels that way, but it never came across. I never felt like I was coming across that way because she, like I said, she was always
convenient.
She was always happy. She had friends.
Because why am I going to try to put more issues on you when you already have issues to deal with my sister? Why am I going to do that? That's literally just going to make things worse. So that's why I could never go to you about anything, just like I still don't. And then you expect for me to go and talk to you about anything and just be okay. How do I open up to someone?
That's why I started taking you to counseling.
Okay, counseling isn't doing anything because I don't know how to open up for someone because I've never gone to anyone to talk.
I think you're being very forthcoming, and I think I hear and understand your thoughts and feelings very well. So you have the ability to express yourself.
I just don't know how to do it the right way.
I totally understand what you're saying and why you feel the way you do. You know, I've got some pictures here. Maria, look at these photos, and this kind of a walk down memory lane. What do you remember about these photos? Like photo number 1, what was going on there?
First day of kindergarten.
First day of kindergarten. And when you see that, what do you remember about that day?
She was happy.
How does seeing her now at that age and that situation make you feel?
It breaks my heart. As a parent, you just want the best for your kids.
Uh-huh. And
you don't want them to struggle like you did or have the heartache like you did. And you surely don't want to be the reason why they're screwed up.
I don't think she's screwed up, by the way, but I don't think Allie is either. But photo 2, what do you see there?
Easter. Happy.
Were holidays a special time? Was that a time that you called kind of time out and focused on her consciously, purposely, specifically? Do you remember these times? What about number 3?
Halloween.
What do you think when you see that photo?
She doesn't seem quite as happy. Yeah. But she does. I mean, she enjoyed carving pumpkins.
And then the 4th photo is tubing at age 14.
Yep.
So she's just been kind of putting one foot in front of the other and making her way along, right? Allie, what do you want for your sister?
For her to be happy again.
Do you? Do you love your sister?
Yeah.
What do you admire most about her?
She's fun to be around. She's beautiful. She's kind.
Do you love your sister? You don't like her all the time, but do you love her?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think should happen at this point?
I don't know. There's really nothing that can happen.
I tell you what, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to speak to Elena just by herself for just a bit. So when we come back, it'll just be the two of us, and you've kind of been sitting in the second row in the shadow, all of that. It's just you and me, kid, when we come back. We'll be right back.
Actually,
well, I've asked Elena's family to step out for just a bit so I can talk to Elena alone. She's been in a family situation where she's really kind of been in the shadows. She has a sister that's been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, along with some other mental, emotional challenges and has certainly been the squeaky wheel. And Elena, and everyone agrees, has really kind of taken a back seat, been forgotten and neglected and kind of pushed to the side. So I wanted to talk to you, just you and me. You have had a great record. You have raised yourself up to this point, and now you're letting your grades slip some. You've started vaping. Stop vaping. Very
I've been
dangerous.
doing that since I was like 13.
Yeah, stop that. Very dangerous. You've raised yourself to this point. You've done a great job. Don't fumble the ball on the 2-yard line. You are 6 months from being able to be independent.
No.
Realize that these grades you're making now are for you. They're not for your mother. They're not for your dad. They will determine where you can go to school, what classes you can take, what you can do to earn your way through this world. You're choosing what standard of living you're going to have right now, and you're mature enough to recognize that. What I want you to do is realize that whatever happens from this point forward, you're in business for yourself. The one person you can control is you. The only person you need to control is you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what they do. Worry about what choices you make and what you
So
do.
I told her, that's why I told her, when I leave, I'm leaving, and I don't know how long I will even talk to you for, because I need time to focus on myself and not you guys for once, because it's been you guys for the past 16 years of my life.
Yeah. You have done a really good job. You're smart. You've got the horsepower. Quit worrying about these people. I would be lying if I told you I could fix them between now and when you leave. No, I really, I can't.
Point, no.
That's not going to happen.
No.
That's not going to happen. I can't change that enough to impact you as much as I can inspire you to impact yourself.
Yeah.
Seize this moment. Do it yourself. You have the power. You can do it. I believe in you, and I know you can do it. You just need to decide. Be selfish on your own behalf. Put yourself first. Audience, do you guys agree? Do you believe this? I mean, this is an impressive young woman here. Robin, what do you think?
Oh, I'm so happy you're talking to her and telling her this, because you're 100% correct. I'm so impressed with who you are, what you've become so far. And every time you speak back to Philip, I hear your passion. I hear your intelligence. I hear that you completely understand what he's saying to you. You do get it. You do understand. And I'm so glad that you have this time with him and that you're hearing him and he's telling you and pleading with you to give up the vaping and to grasp this time and seize this time for your education. I'm thrilled this is happening.
Thank you.
And really take that personal pride and take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically. And it starts with even the way you carry yourself. Like, sit up really tall right now. I mean, scoot back, sit up tall, put your shoulders back. I mean, it really starts with just that simple a thing, is walk with pride, carry yourself with pride, and decide, I'm the captain of my ship and I'm sailing it where I want it to go.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, and I'm going to add the family again. I'm going to tell you what I think needs to happen. I've told her what I think she needs to do. And I've told her I think she's been very involved in her decision making and kind of raising herself to this point. And I trust that she's going to do a good job with that, and she's going to keep going. I do think that it is better for you to be living at your mother's house than at your father's house. I think it's a better situation for you there than the other. But you're going to bloom where you're planted. I've got to tell you, I think this phone issue is a red herring. If I were you, I would want you to have a phone at all times for safety reasons.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you spend all your time on the phone, then you didn't hear me.
I know that my phone does not come first and my education does, and that's what needs to happen, because my education is the one that's going to get me where I need to be in my life, not my phone.
I think you guys need to redefine your relationship and recognize that you've done some right things here, because she didn't raise herself on her own by herself. She got some values, she got some stability, she got some grounding from how she was raised. And you should be proud of that. You should be proud of her.
I am proud of her.
And at this point, she's a young woman, and you guys need to connect on that level. She's not 10 or 11 or 12 years old anymore. She's 16 going on 26. And
Amen.
and you need to recognize that and ask yourself what you can do to provide her a backdrop and environment that facilitates her success. And if you're drinking too much, stop. If you're arguing with this fiance too much, stop. Decide that you're going to do whatever you can to create a conducive environment for her for what time you have left being a central figure in her life. The most powerful role model in any child's life is a same-sex parent. Be a powerful role model right now. You get where I'm coming from on this whole issue, right?
No, I do.
You take care of you. All right. I want to thank my guests today. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. And don't forget to check me out on social media. And I'll tell you why. We talk about what happens here a lot. Like on Facebook, we have a new group on there, it's Dr. Phil Fanatics. And this is a place where you get information nobody else gets. We discuss episodes. You get to see things that you don't get to see outside of that group.
Dr. Phil.
My daughter Christina disappeared almost 2 years ago.
Enrique insisted he did not enter the parking garage with Christina, but surveillance video showed that he did. You've pled with this family.
I've gotten on my hands and knees. Ask your son to tell the truth.
What do you think has happened to her?
She was probably murdered.
Is this the first time you've ever said that out loud?
Plus,
Did Mark Redwine kill his son Dylan?
a breaking update from Dylan's mom
There has been new evidence that has been found.
with a shocking twist.
You're being sued by Mark. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. It's a story that made national headlines. A beautiful, outgoing, free-spirited 23-year-old woman who loved photography, vanished without a trace after an evening out with friends. She was last seen on surveillance video walking into a parking garage with an acquaintance from high school. Just 3 minutes later, that acquaintance, Enrique, was seen on that same camera leaving the parking garage alone in his car. But where is Christina? That's the question Christina's mother has been asking for almost 2 years.
Breaking news out of Plano right now. Police are searching for a 23-year-old woman.
Christina Morris disappeared on Saturday morning from a parking garage right at the Shops at Legacy.
Billboards are going up around North Texas. Today, the massive search for a missing Fort Worth woman will take to the skies. Volunteers finally got permission to use drones as they look for 23-year-old Christina Morris.
Volunteers searched a large wooded area in Allen yesterday on foot, on horseback, and with ATVs.
Peering through bushes and scanning open parking lots, family and friends looked for clues. They kept an eye out for her cell phone, camera, or even her clothes.
Don't know what happened to her, but we will find her.
24-year-old Enrique Arochi is the man in this surveillance video. The friend is seen walking into the parking garage with Christina Morris at 4 a.m.
So we walked and we split. I don't know where she went or if she went to her car. I just went to my car and left.
Morris hasn't been seen since.
Her silver Toyota Celica was found still parked in the Plano garage.
But police say Orochi also had suspicious injuries the next day at his job, where co-workers say he was walking with a limp and said his ribs hurt.
I feel like they're the one person that walked her to the parking garage has to know something.
Did you have anything to do with her disappearance?
I had nothing to do with her disappearance.
But police believe Enrique did have something to do with her disappearance, and shortly after that interview, he was arrested.
3.5 months after her disappearance, a suspect in the Christina Morris case is waking up in jail this morning.
DNA leads to a major break in the case of a missing woman, Christina Morris.
Arochi was arrested by Plano police, and he's charged with aggravated kidnapping in connection with the disappearance of Christina Morris. Plano police say DNA evidence from inside Arochi's car led to the arrest.
We do believe at some point in time, Christina had been in his vehicle.
The past year, Johnny McElroy has quit her job, moved to Texas, and spent every Saturday on foot searching for her daughter. Every week, family members stand outside the jail, hoping he talks.
Christina's whereabouts remain a mystery.
Well, the mystery of Christina's disappearance has been an emotional roller coaster ride for her mother, as you can well imagine. Recently, news broke of new evidence discovered in the case. That's good news. The bad news is that Enrique Arochi's trial has been postponed.
Breaking news comes from Collin County.
Prosecutors say they plan on testing hair they found where Enrique Arochi worked. They say they want to see if it could be that of Christina Morris.
The news came just as Johnny McElroy began her nightly silent protest outside the Allen home of Enrique Arochi.
Pretty sick to my stomach. I wanted to pull over and pretty much just throw up.
Enrique's trial has now been postponed as prosecutors wait for the DNA results of hair found in a vacuum after Christina disappeared. Now, Johnny says this is the toughest battle she has gone through, and it has been harder as she fights to save her marriage that has been torn apart since her daughter went missing.
My daughter Christina disappeared almost 2 years ago, and I've been searching for her relentlessly. I don't know how to stop. I've searched for Christina 10 to 12 hours a day. I've looked in dumpsters, abandoned buildings, in fields, swamps. There is not a spot that I've missed.
Another day with no answers, but that's not stopping the team of people desperately wanting to know what happened to Christina Morris.
They call themselves Team Christina.
I got on my hands and knees and begged Enrique's dad to tell his son to tell the truth. I made it a commitment to protest in front of his house every single day. My obsession to finding my daughter is destroying my marriage. I definitely feel like my husband does not understand how deep my pain is. We don't communicate anymore at all. No affection. I told Ronnie I didn't care about him I didn't care about anybody but Christina. We constantly fight all the time.
I try to get your attention. Your phone goes off all day long, never stops.
Then come to me and you ask me that.
Can you drop your
Please.
phone?
Why can he not feel my pain? Christina comes before anybody, including my husband, my stepsons, because Christina is the first love that I've ever felt in my entire life. I cannot think about anything else until I have closure.
Okay, Johnny, I'm glad to meet you. I wish we were talking about something else than your missing daughter, of course. I mean, hopefully somebody might see this and remember something. We want as much help as we can get, right?
Yes, she is my only child. She is the love of my life, and she didn't deserve what has happened to her.
And what do you think has happened to her?
I think that she was raped and probably murdered.
Is this the first time you've ever said that out loud, that you think she may actually be gone?
Yes.
That's got to be hard to admit to yourself, but at 2 years, I suppose the odds are starting to stack up against finding her alive.
Yes, and the reason why I feel that, because Christina's strength was unbelievable. She's a fighter. Christina would have found her way back to me.
So people know, and on Friday, August 29th, 2014, at 11:22 p.m., Enrique's car entered the parking garage, and Christina's car entered immediately after that, right?
Correct.
And then on Saturday, August 30th, 2014, at 12:31 a.m., Christina's ID is scanned at a bar. At 12:34 a.m., Christina made credit card transaction at the bar. At 3:30 a.m., Christina and Enrique left a friend's apartment. At 3:55 a.m., Christina and Enrique are seen on surveillance camera entering the parking garage. At 3:58, Enrique's car left the parking garage. And at 4:08 a.m., Enrique's car passed through a tollway booth. At 4:47, Christina's phone pinged a cell tower, and at 4:56 a.m., Enrique's phone pinged the cell tower. At 5:32 a.m., Enrique's phone pinged a cell tower near his home. And then at 10:15 a.m., according to Plano PD affidavit, Enrique got gas, inspected his trunk and the driver's side of his car, wiped down the passenger side door, and scrubbed the back with a squeegee. At 11 a.m., according to the Plano Police Department affidavit, Enrique arrived at work about 3 hours late, had visible scratches and a bite mark on his arm, complained that his ribs hurt. And then September 2nd, Christina's father reported her missing, and then on the 9th, Texas EquuSearch and local volunteers combed the area looking for Christina. Then on the 26th, detectives executed a search warrant for Enrique's car, processed for the presence of bodily fluids and other trace evidence. Then on the 9th, the DNA profile developed from the trunk swab to be a perfect match to the DNA profile of Christina.
That's correct.
On the 13th, he was arrested and charged with aggravated kidnapping. Then on the 15th of January, State District Judge determined there was enough probable cause. He was held on $1 million bond. Now we jump to September. Hair collected from a vacuum cleaner where Enrique worked, sent for DNA testing. Then on November 30th, his trial was expected to start, but it's been delayed so this DNA can be tested, and that's delayed until June.
Yes, June 6th.
Correct? So now you're on hold.
Correct.
Until that comes up. So that's pretty much everything that's transpired.
Yes.
There are some alleged inconsistencies according to the Plano Police Department's probable cause affidavit and the affidavit for the search warrant. Enrique insisted he did not enter the parking garage with Christina, but the probable cause and affidavit for search warrant says the surveillance video showed that he did enter the parking garage with Christina.
That is correct.
He claimed he did not see the direction she traveled after entering the garage because he walked to another garage where he parked his car. But their affidavit says that it showed him entering and exiting the same garage where she parked, right?
That is correct.
He claimed he did not talk to Christina while they walked from a friend's apartment to the garage, but their probable cause affidavit said that he claimed he let Christina use his cell phone to call her boyfriend. He claimed she had not been in his vehicle, but yet the DNA profile developed from the trunk swab of his car was a perfect match to the DNA profile of Christina. He claimed he traveled east to his home after leaving the parking garage, but their affidavit says toll tags show he traveled north. He claimed he sustained bruises to his forearm and abrasions to his hand from a wheel falling on his hand, but their affidavit said an employee where he worked told detectives that Enrique came to work walking with a limp, said his ribs hurt. The employee saw a bite mark, and Enrique told the employee he was bit during a fight the previous night.
That's correct.
So there's just contradictions all through, which makes you very suspicious.
I know 100%, Dr. Phil, in my heart, he is guilty of kidnapping and the disappearance of my daughter, plain and simple.
And you've pled with this family to give you information. You've written to him.
I write to him every single week in jail.
I have an excerpt of one of the letters you read. Dear Enrique, the more you just sit back and do nothing but eat 3 meals a day for free, have free room and board, and get to have visits with your family, and my daughter doesn't, it pisses me off. You are a liar and a coward. You think you are just going to get away with all your evil acts and lies. Tell me where my daughter is. Give me the chance to forgive you.
I tell him I can forgive him, but I cannot forgive him until he gives me a reason to forgive him. I've gotten on my hands and knees, closer than me and you are sitting right now. I've literally got on my hands and knees. His father had on sunglasses. I asked him to please take his glasses off and to look in my eyes as a parent and hear my heart and my soul to please, when you go visit your son today, ask him to do the right thing and tell the truth and let us all begin to heal.
And what did he say?
Nothing. It's a smirk.
But he's probably told them he has nothing to do with it, right?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
You think he told his parents, I kidnapped and murdered this girl?
I don't believe that he told his parents the whole truth, but I do believe that his parents know that he did something.
Johnny says she's obsessed with finding Christina and even left her husband behind for 8 months while she spent 10 to 12 hours a day searching for her daughter in Texas. Well, we're going to meet Johnny's husband and find out what he says he saw